not to be threatened.
I think that's a perfect answer. This day it's marked to bring awareness about corruption and how we can combat it. So that answer tells it all. Are you combating corruption in this company? Not just in this company, but outside there. We have distributors. We have our partners. Are we combating corruption? Are we encouraging it? This is the day which we are saying, stop corruption. Say it loud. 100% integrity. You have to say it louder. You know, Castelli is an ethical corporate citizen. It doesn't tolerate bribery. It doesn't tolerate any kind of corruption. So from today onwards, if you see somebody committing that crime, please say it loud. You can say it on social media. You can say it everywhere. But you have to bring awareness. That's what this day is all about. And Guillaume has said it perfectly. I hope you heard the answer, and you will apply it in your everyday duties. I'll go to the next question. I think this question will go to Tanyazi. Do you know the group has a code of conduct? How do you understand it? And how do you relate the code of conduct to this day, the International Anti-Corruption Day?
Yes, I'm aware and I know that the group has a code of conduct, and we have tried as much as possible to localize it also to our local setup, and it works so well to our local setup because in our code of conduct in relation to corruption, there's a lot of items that touch on corruption. For example, doing due diligence with our customers, also managing conflict of interest. So such issues, when they come down from the group to here, we're able to localize them and we can use them. For example, if I have something else that I'm doing and it will be in conflict with the interests of the company, I will have to declare it. Otherwise, there will be conflict and corruption can come in at some time.
Great. Andrew, can you tell us one of the principles of the code of conduct which is connected to this day?
I think one of the principles of the code of conduct, I think it talks about whistleblowing. We need to make sure that if there are some acts of corruption that are happening, if you're not able to report maybe to your functional manager, or it could be your functional manager, for instance, that is involved in an act of corruption, and maybe you feel that it's very difficult. I think the code talks about whistleblowing, where you can, there is an anonymous line with Deloitte that you can also go and report using that as a forum to report corruption. Sure.
Okay, Andrew has just mentioned one of the main principles of the code of conduct, but I want to center on the common principle, which I think we need to be aware of. I will ask Mwawi if she knows that principle. It's a common principle. So, Mwawi, can you tell us about this common principle, please?
Well, thank you for that question. In my perspective, I think the common principle is that you'll have to, as a company, in line with group perspective, we'll have to resist corruption, we have to reject corruption, and if we get a chance, we also have to report acts of corruption that are happening in the organization. Thanks.
Okay, you got that answer, but I want somebody to mention that one principle. Henry, what do you think is the burning principle of the code of conduct.
Maybe just to say no to corruption. Zero tolerance to corruption.
Okay, but I'm looking for that burning principle. Maybe Jean?
Thank you for the question. For me, as a lady, as women, we need to stand up and say no to corruption, report everything that is happening that leads to corruption. No limitations that this is a woman.
Okay, you all got it right, but there is a burning principle which, maybe Guillaume, you want to mention it? Okay, bribery. Bribery. It's common in our company. Bribery. Are we receiving bribes? Are we giving bribes? No, you can't say no. Huh? Bribery is a burning principle in this company. Do not receive bribes. If anyone offers something which you think a gift, something like a gift, which you think is inappropriate, refuse. And please don't give bribes. Bribery is not allowed. If you receive a bribe or if you offer a bribe, you are corrupt. And that's what this day is all about. If you receive a bribe, if you give out a bribe, you are corrupt. You are a corrupt person. So please refuse bribes. Please don't give out bribes. It might be internally, it might be externally, but don't give out bribes. I don't know if you know what a bribe is. The people who are in front here, do you know what a bribe is? Peter Chimungu, can you please tell us what a bribe is?
I would say it's an under operation, okay, where you want to get a favor and then you don't deserve it, but you pay someone, okay, you recruit someone or using of money, but even through acts of recruiting people who are not deserving a job, that's part of bribery.
Okay. Bribes are, a bribe is about trading influences. If you give somebody of value, of something or something of value, to influence that person to decide otherwise, or to influence that person to make a decision in your favor, then that's a bribe. I'll ask you a question, and okay, I will give that question to the rest of group. Facilitation payments. Let's say you want to do something, you've been tasked to get, I'll give you a practical example. If you are tasked to get TEP for one of our expatriates, and it's taking long, you don't know what to do, you've been pushing and it's not working, you think of an idea, you get a crate, you give to an immigration officer. Would you call that a bribe? You're just doing your work. I'll call Elube. Okay, you're already answering. Please come. No? Would you call that a bribe? You're just doing your work. You want to achieve. You want to do something which will benefit the company. So would you call that a bribe?
Yes, it's a bribe, because from your definition, a bribe, it's an influence. So you giving someone a crate, even though it helps you with your job, what you're doing is you're influencing the person to do something in your favor. If you look at immigration, obviously those guys have got so many things that they're doing. There's a list. They'll go according to who came first, but you want to be on the first, on the top, because your job your job requires you to have that ready as soon as possible, it is a bribe.
Guys, facilitation payments are a bribe. She's just said it. Whether you are doing it in the course of employment, you want to get a TEP, you want to facilitate something, that's a bribe. Please do not give a gift of value or something of value to facilitate something, to facilitate a payment or to facilitate a service. That's a bribe. You need to guard against that, because that's a bribe. Even when a traffic police stops you and then they are delaying you there, you give a 1,000 kwacha to that traffic police. That's a bribe. You might be rushing to a meeting, you might be rushing somewhere, but that's a bribe. Do not give money to such people. That's a bribe. You might look at it as something which you are doing in the course of employment. You want to speed up something. You want to rush a service. But if that thing influences the decision of the other person, it becomes a bribe. You know that? You want to achieve something at work. You want to mufuna kuchongeza. But if that thing is going to influence the decision of the other person, of the other party, that qualifies to be a bribe. Do not do that. The Anti-Corruption Act says that's a bribe, and you'll be in trouble if you give such a bribe. Facilitation payments are not allowed, whether it's to immigration officers or whether it's to somebody of influence. Facilitation payments are not allowed. Don't give money to achieve something. You might be under pressure at work. You want to get something. You want to get a TEP. You want to get a result. But if you give something of value, we might give Malawi gin, we might give some craze to some officers, immigration officers. It's not allowed. Don't allow that. Don't do that, because that will qualify as a bribe. And my guest of honor there will tell you that if you do such a thing, you will be prosecuted under the Corrupt Practices Act. And that's bad, and it will bring a bad reputation to the company. I'll go to the gifts from the participants. I'll go back to Guillaume. If somebody gives you a gift of value, something like a car or a TV, would you accept it? If you wouldn't accept it, why? Tell me about it.
I think, first of all, corruption, the bribe can be also a service, Chippy. It doesn't have to be a thing. It could be a service. For example, you want to put your child in a certain school. There is no place in the school. If the director if he's giving you a place for your child in exchange of something, that is also a bribe. So a bribe can be a service, I think, not necessarily a thing. And if someone would offer me a TV or high-value goods, I would just refuse it, just not to be in a position where I would owe something to that person as well. Yeah.
Okay, we have a procurement guy here. You have a bid. People have applied for the bid. And one of the people who have applied for the bid gives you a car. What would you do?
Definitely is to refuse the car. Yes, what you need, because at the end of the day, when you receive the car, definitely the decisions that you make on the bidding process won't be viable. The best thing is to refuse the car.
If he gets the car, the next bid, the guy will tell him now, I gave you a car, I know you took it, you were complicit, so now you're gonna have my bid go, and I wouldn't give you anything, otherwise I'm gonna leak that information. So those are the kind of things where you will be tempted to take in the first place. You will be happy, but the guys will have you cornered in a way that he can do anything with you, and you will have to accept. And he's not gonna give you a car the second time.
Exactly. There are some gifts which are very, very unacceptable. If you're given a car, like Henry here is in procurement, and then there's a bid which has been advertised in the newspaper, people apply for the bid, and then somebody who has applied for the bid gives Henry a car. Do you think Henry is going to decide otherwise? Is he going to say no to that person? I want to hear it from you. Do you think Henry is going to say no to that person who has given him a car? Huh? That's what trading of influences is all about. That means Henry is going to decide in favor of that person because that person has given him a car. So that's a bribe. That's what this day is all about. We are saying no to that. We are saying no to bribes. Don't receive bribes. If something like that happens, Henry, you say no. You tell that person, please don't give me that. I will decide this on basis of my professional capability. Yeah? 100% integrity. That's what we are talking about today. 100% integrity. Castel employees have integrity. 100% integrity. You will not make a decision basing on what you have received, on a gift you have received. No. Yeah? If somebody gives you a gift of value, say no to that. Tell him to get away, to get off. You will say that no, our code of conduct doesn't allow such things. If you want, just compete competently and professionally. If you are going to be chosen, you are going to be chosen on the basis of what you have submitted, not on what somebody is going to give you. This question will go to Peter. I don't think, Peter, you have answered any question. No. So you have witnessed a corrupt act. Somebody giving something to somebody, a gift of value, something which is of value, and you've seen that. What would you do? As a manager, what would you do? You have witnessed such a thing.
Okay, as a manager and a responsible person, first of all, I would report to my supervisor about it, all right? And also, there are also, if it's my supervisor, then I'll use a tip-off anonymous, okay, which is readily available. Okay, you can report the issue, okay, with confidentiality, okay, and then the issue will be investigated, and the guy who is receiving or giving the bribe will be investigated properly. So I can use tip-off anonymous, which is readily available if it's my supervisor, but if it's not my supervisor, then I can report to my supervisor about the incident.
Okay, Peter has said it all. You know, in this company, we have an ethics committee. Do you know about the ethics committee? Do you know? There's the MD himself, the higher authority. There is the CFO, there is the HR director, and myself as head of legal. You know, you can report to that committee, but if you don't feel comfortable, there is another platform where you can report such misconduct. There is a Tip-Offs Anonymous. Do you know about the Tip-Offs Anonymous? I want to hear it from you, because that's a very anonymous, confidential platform where you can report malpractice in this company, misconduct in this company, sexual harassment, bribery, fraud, theft, and everything. Do you know about that platform? Please say it loud if you know about it. If you don't know about it, then please get facts on it and get the code of conduct. There are toll-free numbers. It's very confidential. Please report all malpractice in this company, any misconduct behavior. You don't have to report about your salary. You know that? Those are issues which Gloria can handle. But this platform is for malpractices, fraud, theft, sexual harassment, and everything. If you witness such an act and you don't feel comfortable to report, you know there are ethics referees in the company. Do you know that? Do you know who the ethics referees are? Who are they? Okay, somebody has just said it. We are ethics referees. Gloria there and myself. If you don't feel comfortable to report such malpractice to us, there is a platform, the Deloitte Tip-Offs Anonymous. I think you had a training on that. You can report on that. MD will tell you about what we have just done recently, about the people who reported, and their reports materialized. We recovered something, it materialized. Something happened to those people, and I'll leave it to the MD to say about it. But if you witness some malpractice, misconduct, and you don't feel confident to report to the ethics referees, Gloria and myself, you can use that platform, the Tip-Offs Anonymous platform. It's very confidential. You will not be victimized for reporting such a report, and you will get a reward, and there's a reward actually. You get something out of it. Please report all malpractices. If you witness somebody receiving a bribe, money laundering, theft, fraud, report through that platform, the Tip-Offs Anonymous. There are numbers, they are all over. Mr. White from Deloitte, I think you went around throughout the country to tell you about it. We had trainings about that. Report through that platform if you don't feel like reporting through the ethics referees. And your report will be investigated, and you will be rewarded if your report materializes into something. But your report has to be in good faith. Don't report about salaries. It's not about salaries. Don't report about your personal life. It's about the misconduct which is happening in this company. Use that platform. It's very efficient. And some reports even go to the group, and they are processed efficiently. You'll be rewarded for that report if it materializes to be fine, to be a good report. But like I've said, don't report something which is not in good faith. It will be trashed. So from today onwards, let's use this platform, the Tip-Offs Anonymous. There are numbers, they were circulated all over the country, and I think you will use it from now onwards. Thank you so much. We can go. That's it.
All right, that was quite exciting.